Hi guys, welcome to today's video. My name is Enorita James. I'm a clinical research scientist living and working in Germany. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 7 things you need to do to ensure that you take your blood pressure correctly at home. Before I start, if you do not have a blood pressure monitoring device at home, please get one. They are not so expensive as you think. But even if they are expensive, it can save your life. Gone are the days that only people that have high blood pressure have blood monitoring devices at home. Please, I repeat, if you do not have something like this at home, get one, because you need to monitor your blood pressure regularly at home. In today's world, there is so much stress. People just slump, irrespective of age. So it is advisable you get a blood monitoring system at home. So without wasting much time, let us go start with the first 3 things you need to do before you even take the blood pressure. So 3 things you need to do, first of all, before you even think of measuring your blood pressure. Number 1, stay away from any drink that has caffeine. Energy drinks has caffeine. Coffee has caffeine. If you're a coffee drinker, stay away from it if you intend to take your blood pressure at least 2 hours to 3 hours away from it, because caffeine has been known to artificially increase blood pressure. That's number 1 thing you need to ensure you do before you even think of taking your blood pressure. Number 2 thing that you need to do is to empty your bladder. You may be surprised. Research has shown that a full bladder has an effect on your blood pressure. In fact, the research that was carried out with people that had a full bladder, after their blood pressure was measured, they were told to empty their bladder, and their blood pressure was measured again. It was noticed that the blood pressure increased as much as 10 points. So, if you're taking your blood pressure, ensure that you empty your bladder. And then number 3 thing that you need to do before you take your blood pressure is to ensure that you did not do any kind of rigorous activity. That is, you did not just run up the staircase and just come and sit down and decide to take your blood pressure. It will give you an artificially high number. You did not just finish quarreling with your wife or your children or your worker and then you decide to take your blood pressure. It will be an artificial high number. You did not just do a weightlifting exercise or any form of activity at all before taking your blood pressure. Remember that for anybody to be diagnosed as having a high blood pressure, that blood pressure should be taken when you are calm. Should be taken when you are really calm. So that is why most times when you go to a doctor's clinic, they normally take your blood pressure after some time, after they have asked you questions and all that, because they are not sure whether you jumped up the stairs or you were running up the stairs or you were having any kind of agitating conversation before you came into their office. So those are the 3 things you need to do first. As I said, number 1, ensure that you are not taking anything that has caffeine, including energy drinks. Energy drinks has caffeine in it. Ensure that you're not taking anything that has any drink that has caffeine. Ensure that you've emptied your bladder. And then ensure that you are in a calm state before you start to take your blood pressure. So now let's go on to the 5 things that you need to do during your taking this blood pressure. So let's talk about actually taking the blood pressure. Number one, ensure that you take your blood pressure on the left part of your hand, not on the right. You see, the aorta, the very big vessel that comes from your heart, it immediately splits into two arteries on the left side of your body. But here, it goes on and splits into two arteries. Then one of the arteries splits into two again on the right part of your body. That is why the left part of your body actually shows you the position of your arteries. That is why it is good to take it from the left part of your hand. But that notwithstanding, you can take your blood pressure from the left and also take it from the right and then see the difference. If it is more than 10 points, then please concentrate on your left part. But if it is less than 5 points difference, then you can decide to take it on your left or your right. But definitely there will be a difference between taking your blood pressure on your left side and on your right arm. So that's number one thing. Number two, please ensure, let me adjust this. Ensure that when you are putting the blood pressure cuff on your hand, ensure that it is not on your clothing. It is on your skin direct. That is very important. If you go to anywhere and a nurse wants to take your blood pressure with your clothing, please tell her, no, you're supposed to be taken like this. Because if you take it with the clothing, it will give you an artificially high value. And then, when you put the cuff, like so, on your hand, ensure that it is not too tight. Ensure that at least 2 of your fingers can enter inside. Because if it is too tight, you will also have that problem of having artificially high blood pressure. Another thing is that, I think that is number 2 or number 3, I'm not so sure. Okay, number 3, ensure that when you are sitting down to take your blood pressure, don't cross your leg. When you cross your leg, something as simple as that can actually affect the numbers that you have when you're taking your blood pressure, according to research. So try to keep your legs apart and normal. No crossing it over the other side. Just keep it apart, normal sitting, relaxed state. And then, number 5, please, when you're taking your blood pressure, not talking on the phone. Not talking any kind of business activities on the phone. No abusing and all that, because that will be an agitation. It will give you an abnormal high values. And then finally, do not take just one blood pressure reading. Taking just one blood pressure reading and it is high is not enough for you to say that you now have hypertension. No. You have to take your blood pressure readings at least 3 times, especially if the difference between the first and the second is more than 5 points. You need to take it 3 to 4 times and then find out the average. Before I end this video, I want to let you know the normal ranges of blood pressure. What is the normal range? What range would you now call stage 1 hypertension? What stage would you now call it stage 2 hypertension? So according to Harvard Health Education, I'm reading it from their website, the normal blood pressure should be less than 120/80. That is 120 systolic and 80 diastolic blood pressure. Elevated blood pressure is anything that is above 120 up to 129/79. Stage 1 hypertension, if you have something between 130/80 or 139/89, anything between that is stage 1 hypertension. Stage 2 hypertension is when you have a blood pressure reading of 140/90 and above. So that is what I read from their site. So at least you have an idea of what your reading gives to you before you cannot take yourself to your doctor. At least you already have an idea. This is what my blood pressure is like. And at least you can monitor your blood pressure. Thank you so much for listening. I've come to the end of this video. I hope you do well to buy yourself a blood pressure monitoring device. It is an asset that you need to have in your house. You need it. It can save your life or the life of your loved ones. So go and get one. It's an asset. Take your blood pressure. If you have any other complaints or you have any other questions that has to do with taking your blood pressure, please drop your comments down there. And thank you so much for listening. Till my next video.